The greatest YouTuber of all time is back from vacation. I hope everyone had a good holiday. Hope everyone have a great new year next year. But this has been probably, if you want to be honest, one of my most worked on videos, even because I'm probably going to edit this heavily. I've been doing this list since the beginning of this year. So I have my 26 movies that I saw. Some are on Netflix. Yeah, but I saw most of these in the theater, and I'm going to give you my ranking. This is the only correct ranking list on YouTube. If you've seen these movies, they have to be in somewhat this order. If they're not, the list is inaccurate. Let's start. Cue the intro.
It's a bird! It's a plane!
It's a geek.
So we're going to start from the top. I'm probably not going to do a synopsis on most of these movies, but on the ones probably closer to the top, I'll start doing why I ranked them. At 26, we have Mean Girls. I saw Mean Girls. I feel bad for Mean Girls because it was actually the first movie that I saw of the year. So it's literally been at the bottom the whole time. I saw it because my girlfriend wanted to see it. I have it at 26. 25, second worst movie this year, Madam Web. I don't need to say anything else about that. 24, I actually have The Watchers. Now, The Watchers was kind of like a scary movie about these alien weird things, spirit things, fairy things. Watching this, the story was trash, alright? So it's at 24. 23, this might come as a shocker to some of y'all, but I have none other than Despicable Me. Despicable Me is at 23, mainly because it just, the magic that I felt like it had was gone, and that could be because I'm not a kid anymore when the first Despicable Me came out. Me and my girlfriend, I think my girlfriend fell asleep on it. I actually ended up seeing it twice. I saw it once with my dad, I believe, and I think I saw it again with my girlfriend. But my dad, he slept on it, I think. I know my girlfriend slept on it, so. 23. 22, another shocker, Rebel Ridge. I wasn't the biggest fan of Rebel Ridge. I feel like the story of where they could have went, like how they set it up with a black dude obviously going through racism, having this ex-military experience, and they kind of went a completely opposite route that I thought they would have with that story. Aaron Pierre did a great job in this role, but as a whole, I felt the movie was a little dry. 21, I'm gonna go Red 1. I watched Red 1 on streaming, Amazon Prime this past week. It was okay. I mean, nothing too crazy about it. The story was kind of but mediocre Christmas movie. And I think before I continue, what we have to realize is that a lot of our favorite Christmas movies aren't really good movies collectively. They're just very nostalgic. And I feel like as time goes on, Red 1 will kind of be in that conversation. So number 20, I'm gonna go Imaginary. Imaginary was the movie about the little kid with the teddy bear doll that was alive, and they went to this portal world, and too much for me. The horror movies this year was a little too much. So I got it at 20. 19, I have A Quiet Place Day 1. Now, I haven't seen any other A Quiet Place movies, but for me, this movie was a little slower. It didn't really feel like a day one. We kind of had our day one experience, and then it kind of just went to like the first week. So I feel like a better title for that movie would have been A Quiet Place Week 1 or something, because it didn't really fully grasp the reactions of everybody on the first day. It was kind of like a timeline type thing. Number 18, I'm going to go Trap. Trap almost fell asleep on as well. M. Night Shyamalan, who is notorious for having a lot of misses and a few hits. This unfortunately was one of the misses. Story was too cheesy, too predictable. That's why I have it at number 18. 17, Joker 2. Now, Joker 2 was bad, but it wasn't as bad as everybody was saying it was. Obviously, the musical aspects cut away from the movie. The court, it was way too dragged out, way too long. And by the end of the movie, it was kind of like, what's going on? What happened? Where do we even go from here? So that's why I have it at number 17. Number 16, I'm gonna go Garfield. Yeah, I saw Garfield. Cool little flick. I think Garfield was the first movie I saw when I started the internship this past summer here in Kentucky. It was just something to do, something to watch. Middle of the pack. I got it at number 16. 15, I have Kung Fu Panda. Now, Kung Fu Panda 4. Now, me and my girlfriend saw Kung Fu Panda 4 in a 4DX theater. The 4DX experience was cool, but the movie as a whole was lackluster. it felt like they were just trying to like bring up these nostalgic characters to boost what the story they had. And honestly, the story they had wasn't really fulfilling. Sonic 3 was actually pretty decent. Sonic 3 was a decent movie. I honestly, for me, the jokes are a little too far. Eggman, I wanted him to be a little more serious. I don't feel like Jim Carrey should have taken that role, or that they should have gave Jim Carrey that role. I honestly don't feel like he fits that person. But I didn't watch that movie for Sonic. I actually watched it for Shadow. Keanu Reeves as Shadow was amazing. That dude was boxing. And spoiler alert, there really was no winner for Shadow versus Sonic. They were going head to head, and Shadow was whipping their butt. Alright? So I got it middle of the pack at 14. 13, I have Civil War. Now, Civil War was the movie about the states, you know, splitting off and being at war. I thought it would have been a little more gung-ho, if that makes sense. Like, I thought it would have been a little more violent, a lot more fighting. The story, it was a little weird because I felt like they could have went more into the political stuff, and they had enough time for the violent stuff. It kind of seems like they didn't really know what to do in this movie, and honestly, it feels like this movie might have needed a prequel or something for us to really know why these states did what they did, or why these sides are like that. Number 12, an underrated sleeper movie that I didn't really hear a lot of people talk about. I have Monkey Man here. Monkey Man was about, people said it was an Indian John Wick. It wasn't really that. I know people were saying that before the movie came out with the trailers and stuff. It was about Indian culture as a whole, and this Indian fighter. And if you watch One Piece, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all do on my channel. There was some semblances of that in that movie, because if you know, One Piece is kind of based off of Monkey Man, like the actual mythical figure. So it was cool watching that. It was cool getting some Indian culture, but at the same time, it wasn't really as gruesome as I thought it was. Now, for that last fight, it definitely was. But throughout the whole movie, it kind of was a lot focused on that Indian culture piece. Number 11, I have Moana 2. I watched the first Moana before I saw Moana 2. Y'all saw my review on it. If you want to know more about that, go watch my review. Number 10, people might be surprised that I have this low, but I actually have The Wild Robot. The Wild Robot was good. Was it as good as people hyped it up to be? In my opinion, not really. All right. Number 9, I have a Netflix original as well, Carry On. So people kind of were saying that Carry On was like a Christmas movie. No. Can we stop this notion of a movie having one or two Christmas scenes, or being set in the time of Christmas, and it automatically being a Christmas movie? There's no Santa Claus, there's no snow, there's no none of this. There's no Christmas spirit. It's just a movie about a dude who has to get his bomb off a plane, and it just so happens to be in December. But it was actually pretty good, so I got it at number 9. It's top 10. Number 8, another Netflix original, was Hitman. Now, for the longest on my list, Hitman was actually very, very high. I didn't see a lot of people talk about Hitman. So Hitman starred the new white dude that everybody's liking, Glenn Powell. And Glenn Powell, he was basically a hitman who was having to do different disguises and stuff. He ends up falling in love and stuff goes wrong. It was a very, very funny movie. I wish that was one of the movies I was able to watch with my girlfriend. That would have been cool. Number 7, people might be surprised that I have this high, but I actually have Wicked at number 7. So yes, I did see Wicked. I felt like the movie was a little drawn out, and that was because that was just that first viewing. Honestly, Wicked could be higher if I watched it a second time. The singing was great. It had a couple cool songs in there. The acting from Ariana Grande, the lady who plays Elsa, whatever her name is, that was great as well. But yeah, I got Wicked at number 7. Number 6. I have Godzilla and Kong. Godzilla and Kong, action flick. Nothing need to be said about that. Now, let's move into my top 5. Now, there's some movies I haven't called yet that, I didn't see. Keep in mind, Dune is not gonna be in this list. I haven't seen some of the movies of this year that y'all saw. So there's a lot of stuff that y'all saw that I didn't see, and there's a lot of stuff I saw that y'all didn't see that's gonna be on this list. All right. Number 5, I have Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 was the Elementals of this year. Elementals was the movie that I liked last year. That was kind of a romance movie. Inside Out 2 wasn't a romance, but it dealt with the emotions. They even touched on some of the adults, but how teens interact with each other, it was actually pretty funny. It was actually cool to see, you know, how teens are thinking in this day and age. Like, I didn't really grow up, you know, I'm in this generation, but I'm not in this newer generation that Inside Out 2 is based off of. So it was cool to watch that, and I really enjoyed that movie. Number 4, I have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Nothing else needs to be said about that. Number 3. Now, y'all might be mad that this is not my number 1, being that I am a Marvel channel. But, not at number 3, I have Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, hear me out. I have Deadpool and Wolverine at number 3 because the story just wasn't great, bruh. It was very, very simple. The villain was very, very simple. But the action was cool. The comedy was alright. The cameos were cool. So I have it at number 3. Honestly, it could be a little lower. I could swap out Deadpool and Wolverine, Inside Out 2 if you want me to be honest. But I feel like honestly, if I'm being truthful, Deadpool and Wolverine is at number 3. We have Hugh Jackman returning. At number 2, this honestly could have been my number 1 movie of the year. And at number 2, I have Transformers 1. Transformers 1, man. It was underrated movie. It's the best animated movie this year. The best Transformers movie ever. Where can I start? Story was great. The character voice acting was great. The animation was great. This movie was amazing, and I believe I saw it at the big theater, so it made it even better. But it was cool to see kind of how Optimus Prime and how Megatron switching. And for most of the movie, it didn't dawn on me that, oh, this dude is going to be Megatron. I'm watching this movie and I'm like, bruh, they're really real life friends. They're real life friends. How can this turn up bad? But you start seeing the signs of Megatron starting to think a little delusional, and you're like, oh. So that ending was amazing. I really hope we get a sequel of that movie. I really do. And at number 1, which also might be a surprise to y'all, I have Bad Boys 4 as my best movie of this year. Let me tell you why. With Bad Boys 4, you don't need an overcomplicated story. It was about the commander-in-chief. He had got his name tarnished. We get Martin Lawrence, comedic genius, one of the best to ever do it. We get Will Smith, one of the best actors to ever do it. They're coming back. And their dynamic is different because Martin is acting how Will Smith used to act, and then Will Smith is acting like how Martin used to act in the other movies. So they flip-flop. Then we get that. The action was crazy. The comedy was crazy. I was laughing. It has to be a really good, funny movie for me to laugh in the theater. I was laughing the whole movie in that movie. Mainly because of Martin. Martin's just a funny dude. That was great. The action, the scene with old dude, the nephew, and he taking out all of the people who coming in the house. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He taking out all the people that's coming in the house by himself. Oh, Reggie. Cool. That was great, bruh. So I have Bad Boys 4 at number 1. So that is my movie list of 2024. Y'all let me know if there's something I'm missing. Well, I know there's a lot that I'm missing. Y'all let me know how y'all would rearrange my list, because I know y'all gonna have some problems with it. And I appreciate y'all for sticking around. Before we go, we're on the road to 400 subscribers. My goal was to hit 500 subscribers at the end of this year. Unfortunately, that will not happen. But I will be still trying to hit that 500 subscriber mark if y'all continue to bear with me. If you love the video, like the video, don't literally slide on the video. I'm on the road to 400 subscribers. I appreciate if you like my content, share my content. If you're new here, I do Marvel and anime content, and I slip into the DC sometimes, and I talk about movies like this sometimes. Subscribe. I'm out. Peace.